Welcome to the first of the 2024 Bitesize Insights. We've got a very distinguished guest with us, Steve van Wyk, the chairman of the BIAN board, who will shine a spotlight on some of the developments at BIAN currently, and of course, the BIAN Banking Summit that will take place in November in London. Welcome, Steve.
It's great to be here, Marguerite. Thank you.
So, Steve, you've got an illustrious career. You've got more than 30 years in IT leadership roles, and I think you have served as Global CIO for organizations like HSBC, PNC, ING, and even Morgan Stanley, to name just a few. And you've held the role of the chairman of the BIAN board for more than 10 years. So I think we all can agree you've had quite a significant impact on industry standards and innovation.
Well, Margaret, you make me feel old, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've been very blessed with a great career, being able to work for great companies and work with great teams. And yeah, have a lot of experience, as we've all gone through the major challenges that we face in the kind of the roles that we have.
So we'll look at some of those challenges today, but of course we would first like to find out how how you envision the strategic direction you envision for BIAN.
Yeah, well, Marguerite, our focus at BIAN will continue to be adoption, which is critically important, because we want to continue to demonstrate that BIAN will fuel those foundational capabilities that will not only prepare us for the future, because a lot of people talk about kind of being future ready, but in our view, to be future proof. And we say that because we think it's giving us and the banks that are adopting BIAN the agility to adapt to whatever future comes our way, and to be able to take the time, both money and the resources that we throw at it, to repurpose what we do today, and the challenges around the legacy code that we have and the platforms that we are working on, and to be able to repurpose that investment into delivering, more differentiating customer experience. And we think that's our ultimate goal, right? Is to help the industry and the individual banks to serve our customers better than what we do today. And what we're doing within BIAN is we're complementing, our comprehensive service landscape that we have today, that I think everybody really appreciates. But what we're doing, based on some significant demand from our customers, is starting to build out a service framework, right? We're starting to take the products that we use or that we have today and put them into a service framework to help us accelerate the adoption of BIAN within each of our members, but also across the industry, which is really, really good. Now, the service framework covers things like training and certification, which I know you're all familiar with today. So we're looking to expand and to improve on that. But also, we're going to be covering things like consulting services to address things like, how do I get started on my BIAN journey, all the way to how do I use Gen AI to accelerate my BIAN adoption. So we're really excited about this, and we think it's going to provide us even a better means to collaborate with each other. We're creating an environment where you can come in and ask your toughest questions of BIAN, and we'll be able to answer that through the assistance of some of the AI tools that we're working on, but also some membership support. And then finally, we're actually going to be building out a sandbox developer portal where banks can come in and experiment with different forms of their software, and using some of the BIAN compliant resources that we'll have within the sandbox. So there's a lot to be discussed here at our summit in November. So you won't want to miss it. It'll be a great discussion.
Yeah, and since we're on that topic, and I think you've mentioned, or you've hinted at one of the key themes that will be on the agenda again this year, AI. What is? I mean, that's certainly a burning platform for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of buzz, and there's this hype curve that we always go through when new technologies are coming on. But the advancements in AI are real, right? And there's just a tremendous potential that comes from it. Not only on the good side, but then there's, some potential pitfalls that we need to be aware of. And we believe that the pace of transformation was going to continue to accelerate, and in our view, may even outpace the bank's ability to take advantage of Gen AI if we don't do it in a manner that's sustainable, right? And not creating even more architectural complexities, which a lot of times happens when we bring on new technologies. So we need to drive, into this topic at the summit, not only to talk about what's happening, which is just a lot of buzz, but to demonstrate how we can use the wealth of referential data in the buy-in service landscape as a cornerstone, or in essence, as an enabler to really harness the art of the possible when it comes to Gen AI. So it indeed is a hot topic. Now we're going to cover a lot of other themes when we get into the summit, right? We're going to get into a lot of the successes that many of our banks are celebrating and all the innovation that is driving. We're going to get into, obviously, the awards that we've always talked about. And we're going to get into the results of our coreless POV and all the different things. But no doubt that Gen AI will be one of the core topics that we'll get into.
Yeah, that's no doubt. You've hinted in a discussion we had earlier. You've explained to me or I'd like the example you've given of the Lego blocks, of the fact that what is driving the interoperability and how BIAN is looking to lead and show the way in that. Can you elaborate on that a little more, please?
Well, Marguerite, this is where it really gets exciting in my viewpoint, because, every bank is struggling with developing a viable strategy around the future of their core banking platform. And that's where really this kind of plug and play model comes into play, because, every board and every executive committee is asking the same question, right? What is the strategy around transforming this legacy environment? And how do we avoid, many of the pitfalls that a lot of other banks have experienced by spending a tremendous amount of money and maybe not getting the outcome that they hope for. Now, the problem, in our viewpoint, is, we believe the banks, are asking the wrong question. Their question is, what vendor do we select? And we don't think that's the right one. We think the question is, what standard will I select to decompose my existing monolithic structures into these plug and play, components? And to use the standard as a method to empower the entire organization and the supporting third parties to not only modernize, but to transform our systems. And we believe, the approach should not be tied to a proprietary solution with kind of that limited and unpredictable shelf life, but a common industry standard that can componentize your architecture into industry Lego blocks, as we mentioned, to give you that plug and play agility that promotes the ultimate interoperability, eliminating, or if not drastically reducing, the integration and the testing burden that we all experience today. So this is really exciting. Now, I want to be clear. This is not to say that the third parties will not play a big role in the core banking transformations. They will. And what's exciting is that we see many of our vendors in the community, within the BIAN community, that are starting to become, BIAN compliant with their APIs, which is great. And as they choose to decompose their systems into this Lego block mentality, they're aligning themselves to the BIAN service, domain. So really, really exciting topic for us to dive deeper into at the summit. And it's just really, really exciting, I think, for the industry to approach this in a common way, rather than doing it on a bank by bank basis.
Yeah, it certainly seems like a more collaborative and innovative way for the industry that might rally and drive more innovation rather than
Yeah, exactly. And the BIAN framework, has always been a great method for collaboration and innovation, right? It's a common framework that kind of tears down some of the traditional walls within, the organizations, and has been used to do that in the past, right? A common language to bring transparency to the challenges, and to kind of have that common language between, the architects, the technologists, the business people, and even the third parties. And so it is great to see how it's been used, but it also is the same for the industry, right? We can use the BIAN framework to continue to work more collaboratively together, and to start using it not only to talk about our challenges, but to actually start developing solutions that answers the questions of our challenges. And we think the BIAN framework has enough detail within it to start using it in the automation that is now, coming to the forefront with regards to obviously DevOps, but also generative AI, and to start using the BIAN framework to automatically start generating BIAN compliant solutions. So the exciting element is that, the BIAN framework is not only a great means to collaborate, but it's a great means to actually start delivering solutions in a common way across the industry. And this is exciting for, the global ecosystems that we all work in, the technology providers that are all part of BIAN, but the fintechs and everyone else. So everyone who contributes in the industry should be excited about what BIAN brings.
And we'll see a lot of that at the BIAN Banking Summit in November in London. Lots of that those conversations will be happening there, all speaking a common language, and certainly with you taking a big part. So to any and all of our viewers, we hope that you can join us on the 19th and on the 20th in November in London. And until then, Steve, thank you very much for those valuable insights, for your time, and we will see you there.
Thank you very much, Margarita. Thanks to all our BIAN members. We look forward to seeing you in London.